Hello, everyone. My name is Fabian Zimmer. I'm the Group Product Manager for Enablement, and this is the 14.10 Outlook for the Geo Group. I'm covering for Sampat, the Product Manager for Geo. So let's get started. In 14.10, we have a new priority in Geo. You've maybe heard us talk about the self-service framework before. So Geo self-service framework is an architecture that significantly simplifies Geo's code base and also ensures that all data types are replicated and verified by default, which is the customer expectation that we have when data gets transferred between the primary and the secondary side. The performance is fast and we have verification included. It also empowers other developers to contribute new data types, ensuring that Geo features or that new features actually ship with Geo enabled by default right when they get released. So we've already moved a number of data types to the self-service framework. All new data types are self-service framework enabled by default. We still have a few remaining legacy data types. And so over the course of 14.10 and very likely also the next release, we are going to move and migrate the existing legacy data types into the self-service framework. So we're almost done with CI job artifacts. I've included it here. We still hope to ship that in 14.9, but the remaining other data types are projects and wikis, which are of course highly valuable because this is the source code that our customers really contribute to GitLab, designs, specifically design repositories and the container registry. So we're aiming to move those over to the self-service framework. This will make Geo overall significantly simpler to work with from our engineering teams, and that will then in turn allow us to focus more on new features because we don't have to maintain this legacy code anymore. For designs, in particular, this will also unlock the verification features, the same for job artifacts, bringing us closer to 100% verified as well as replicated. So this is the new main priority of the team. We also have a few ongoing initiatives that are still happening in 14.9, but they will carry over into 14.10, and we hope to complete them. So the first one is general availability for Geo's object storage replication feature. So rather than actually relying on object storage replication provided by the object storage provider, so for example, Amazon S3, here Geo replicates data between two object storage buckets. So there are a few bugs that we need to fix. So for example, replicating the deletion of remote stored files, or making it more clear that we don't yet support verification for those data in object storage buckets. This is also likely something that we'll add in another iteration. But right now we're just testing and validating object storage replication performance on reference architectures and on various providers, including Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So this is ongoing, and we hope to ship this very soon. The next point is support for Geo, or improved support for our proxying feature. So we've shipped this a few releases ago, but we're now iterating. So one of the additional capabilities that we'd like to support better is when Geo actually has separate URLs for the primary and the secondary sites. So with a unified URL, which is also, in our view, the best way of deploying Geo, proxying already works very well. For the use case of having separate URLs for secondary sites, and there are some legitimate use cases for this, we want to ensure that the proxying feature also works as expected, but there are a few special considerations that we have to take into account now that we're actually handling two different URLs. So we're working on that. There's also more to do in that area to improve the performance of the proxying feature overall and ensuring that we get the best possible user experience out of Geo. Quickly touch on Rails 6 many database support. So Geo uses a specific tracking database. And here we just ensure that we follow best practices with the later versions of Rails and making Geo compatible with that. So this is an ongoing effort. We are also continuing to do research for our user experiences. One of the things that I'm particularly keen on is completing our scorecard for the category maturity for disaster recovery. We believe that the offering by now is complete, but we always validate this with actual data from customers. So this is ongoing. And then lastly, I'd like to highlight one specific area here, which is improving the performance of first-time replication for Git data. So when you actually enable Geo on your secondary, all of the data from the primary needs to be replicated. And so for this, we used to use Git fetch, works really well, but there are some internal differences on how Git behaves. And by switching to Git clone, the initial replication, so the first time we download the repository, can be up to 27% faster. And so this is a huge time saver, makes Geo overall perform better. And Gabriel is working on this. We are hoping to release that in 14.10, the latest. And that's it. So to rehash, we are aiming to complete migrating all existing data types into the self-service framework so that all of that follows a single specific way and ships with replication and verification by default. And then there's a number of other work going on, including object storage replication, general availability, improving our proxy features, and behaving ourselves well by using Rails 6 many database support. So it's an exciting release. I'm very excited to see all of those features make it in, and see you in the next one. Bye.